Okay, so I'm here with David Allen, famous time management guru, time management genius of the 21st century, author of 3 books, Getting Things Done, and the other ones with very long titles, I'm sorry. And I'd have to point out that David was perfectly on time. Exactly.
The people who are most attracted to it are the people who need it the least.
Right.
The most productive people who are most interested in the uptake of this. And they are usually the people that just sort of at least subliminally assume that their life is going to be better in some way 18 months from now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really interesting to people that are on a productivity track already, mm-hmm. as opposed to people who, don't even, they're so out of control, they don't know they're out of control. But it used to puzzle me, why are the most productive people most interested in this? And then one day I had the big aha. It's the most productive people that are that get the most value out of reducing drag on their systems. And that's what GTD does, is it eliminates drag. Mm-hmm. And who's most interested in eliminating drag are the people who are moving the fastest.
Right.
If you're not moving, if you're in your comfort zone, getting rid of drag may be a drag because you are going to have to change some habits and behaviors to make this work. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like the fine-tuning or refinement of already high-performing people that is really the biggest uptake of GTD. But that could be a 12-year-old, it could be a CEO of a company, it could be a new hire receptionist, it could be a homemaker, because we work with all of them.
Right. Okay, that's an interesting point. So you're thinking that some of these people subconsciously think that in 18 months their life's going to, so they're sort of optimists, or they're already on a track. They're already on a track, right. On a developmental track. Wow, I could use help in getting me more or less of whatever, and that might be leave work sooner, spend more time with my kids, watching their football game, or any of that, or hey, make more money or produce more results. So it's really about people who have some level of investment of increasing either their quality of life or quality of output or quality of experience. Okay, so what about the people who haven't identified that? I guess you really can't. They have to have identified that they need help in the first place, right?
Yeah. So I often get people, once people catch this, they want everybody around them to get it, because life would be a whole lot easier if all of your intersections kind of moved up the food chain using these best practice principles. Mm-hmm. But you can't really legislate system to anybody. What you can do is hold them accountable to deliverables, because GTD really, it sounds sort of cultish, but it really is nothing but just good business practices. Mm-hmm. You make a commitment with me, keep track of it, I'll keep track of it, so that we both make sure that the thing happens. If it matters to us that it happens, then we need to make sure we have the integrity to make sure it happens. So that's all it is just making sure we use the techniques and the tools to really build the external brain. And that's a lot of what GTD did, was recognize the value of building an external brain instead of trying to use your psyche to do it. Your psyche is a terrible office.
Right.
Right. And so a lot of it was just understanding that. Now, if you are handling yourself, Pat, everybody around you is going to know that. Right. And is going to feel it, and especially if they report to you or somehow look up to you in some way, shape, or form, or need your approval, you can hold them to the kind of standards you're holding yourself to, and you don't even have to say GTD. You just say, hey, you gave me these. I gave you these 6 things last week. How they doing? And you've got a list. I guarantee you, if you're the boss, they're going to need to get their list.
That's right. Okay. Now, what if you're the underling and your boss is not using it? Do you have any advice?
Well, the more out of control people are around you, the more you better do it,
right.
So that you know what's yours and what's theirs, right. As opposed to having them bleed all over you. Mm-hmm. So you need to know where do I stop and they start.
Right.
What did your boss commit to? What did you commit to? What are those edges? And just make sure you up-level your communications. Mm-hmm. Because if you're the last person on the planet, you don't need this. Mm-hmm. If you're the only person around. Right. So really GTD and these practices really have a lot to do with, almost all of it to do with all of your intersections. Mm-hmm. How you intersect with your family, how you intersect with yourself. I mean, that's probably the most subtle and powerful aspect of intersection. How do you manage your own agreements with yourself that you've made? Mm-hmm. And your own self-efficacy, if you will. Okay. But it's also, if you start to implement these practices, all of your intersections move up the food chain to some degree. Mm-hmm. And so even if just one person in a culture begins to do these practices, it affects the whole culture.